Welcome to the Grand Elysian. From the outside, it's all gleaming marble, sparkling chandeliers, and the quiet hum of refined luxury. But from my side of the front desk, it's the best show in town. I'm the person you see first when you arrive and last when you leave, the gatekeeper of secrets, the fixer of the unfixable, and sometimes a professional miracle worker. You think you know what goes on in a luxury hotel. Stick around. I'll show you what it's really like when the polished doors slide shut. Let's talk about the Diamond members, our most loyal, most demanding guests. They have expectations, and let's just say those expectations are often written in the stars. I once had a Diamond member call down at 2 a.m. He didn't want a different pillow or an extra towel. No, he wanted the moon. Literally. He said the moon was shining too brightly into his suite and asked if we could do something about it. I paused, looked out the window at the brilliant full moon, and calmly told him, "Sir, I will personally speak with our celestial management team." But their response times can be a bit astronomical. He actually laughed and said, "Fine, just send up some blackout curtains." Crisis averted, but for a second there, I was genuinely considering how to file a complaint with the lunar authorities. Then there was the time a very famous actress, a Diamond member of course, checked in under a pseudonym. Her demand was simple. She wanted her suite to be filled with exactly 100 white monarch butterflies, to be released the moment she walked in. Not 99, not 101. 100 live butterflies. My manager looked at me like I just asked for a pet dragon. But you don't say no. We spent the next 5 hours on the phone with every entomologist, butterfly conservatory, and exotic pet supplier within a 200-mile radius. We actually managed to pull it off. The sight of her face, pure childlike joy as those butterflies fluttered around her. It almost made the frantic counting and chasing escapees round the lobby worth it. Almost. Of course, not all challenges come from our top-tier guests. Sometimes, the most memorable moments are just random. A family checked in once, lovely people, with their 2 young sons. About an hour later, I get a frantic call from the mother. "My sons have lost their pet," she exclaimed. I'm thinking, a hamster, maybe a small lizard. I grabbed a bellman and we went up to help search. We get to the room and the father calmly informs us we're looking for Kevin. "Okay," I said. "What does Kevin look like?" The dad looks me dead in the eye and says, "He's a rock." Yes, a rock. A simple, gray, palm-sized rock named Kevin. The 2 boys were in tears. So for the next 30 minutes, 2 uniformed hotel employees and 2 grown adults were on our hands and knees, under beds and behind curtains, searching for a pet rock. We found Kevin nestled in a shoe. The relief in that room was more palpable than when we found a guest's missing diamond earring last week. You can't make this stuff up. And the things people leave behind, it's a treasure trove of forgotten lives. We found everything from a single, very expensive-looking glass slipper on the grand staircase we all called her Cinderella for a week to a full-sized, professional-grade harp left in the middle of a suite. A harp, the guest just forgot it. We called him and he was like, "Oh, right, my harp, can you ship it to me in Monaco?" Shipping a harp to Monaco is now officially on my list of special skills. We also once found a meticulously detailed 200-page handwritten manuscript. It was a sci-fi novel about a race of talking squirrels. The guest never claimed it. I read the first chapter. Honestly, it wasn't half bad. I'm still waiting for the sequel. But it's not all just bizarre requests and lost items. Sometimes, you become a part of people's lives in the most unexpected ways. A young man once approached my desk, pale and sweating. He was about to propose to his girlfriend at dinner. He pulled out the ring box and his hands were shaking so much he couldn't open it. So, right there, in the middle of a busy lobby, I gave him a pep talk. I told him to breathe, reminded him how much he loved her, and even did a practice run of him getting on one knee. He went to dinner, and about an hour later, he and his new fiancée came back to the desk, her in happy tears, him beaming. They said I was their good luck charm. They still send me a Christmas card every year. And the lost and found isn't just for objects. It's for people, too. An elderly woman once came to the hotel alone. She told me she and her late husband had spent their honeymoon here 60 years ago. She wanted the same room, but it was occupied. I managed to speak to the guests in that room, explain the situation, and they graciously agreed to move. We upgraded them to our best suite, of course. For the next week, I'd see the woman sitting by the window in her old room, just smiling. On her last day, she gave me a small, black and white photo of her and her husband standing on our front steps on their honeymoon. She said, "Thank you for letting me come home one last time." I still have that photo tucked away at my desk. It reminds me that we're not just in the business of selling rooms, we're in the business of memories. Working the front desk of a luxury hotel is like having a backstage pass to humanity. You see people at their best, their worst, their most vulnerable, and their most ridiculously eccentric. One minute you Ray coordinating with security because a guest wants to land his helicopter on the roof. The answer is always no, by the way, and the next you Ray helping a child find their lost teddy bear with the seriousness of a Secret Service agent. The next you Ray helping a child find their lost teddy bear with the seriousness of a Secret Service agent. You learn to be a diplomat, a therapist, a logistician, and a mind reader, all before you've had your morning coffee. Let me tell you about the item of sentimental value calls. Those are the most intense. A guest called in a panic from the airport. She'd left behind her lucky teapot. A guest called in a panic from the airport. She'd left behind her lucky teapot. She was a professional poker player on her way to a massive tournament and refused to play without it. This wasn't just any teapot. It was, according to her, a vessel of immense fortune. She described it as chipped, ugly, but magical. Housekeeping found it. It was indeed chipped and ugly. The challenge? She was boarding her flight in 45 minutes. So, I did what any logical front desk agent would do. I booked the teapot its own seat on the next flig. HT out? Well, not really. I booked a seat for one of our bellhops, who hand-delivered the teapot to her at the casino just in time. She won the tournament. The next day, a case of the world's most expensive champagne arrived at the front desk with a note to my lucky charm and his teapot courier. You guys are the real jackpot. You see, the secret to this job isn't just about saying yes. It's about understanding the why. The guest who needed the butterflies wasn't just being difficult. She was trying to create a moment of pure, magical escapism. The man who wanted the moon moved wasn't just complaining. He was overtired and just wanted a good night's sleep. And the family searching for Kevin the Rock? They were teaching their kids that love and attachment can come in any form, and that what's important to you matters, even if it's just a rock. My job is to see the person behind the request. It's about empathy, creativity, and an endless supply of patience. So, the next time you walk into a beautiful hotel and see that calm, smiling person behind the desk, just know that they've probably already handled 3 impossible situations before you even said hello. They've located a pet rock, shipped a harp, and maybe even had a brief negotiation with the moon. And they're ready for whatever you've got. Because here, impossible is just the starting point for a really good story. Thanks for checking in with me today. If you enjoyed these stories from behind the desk, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. You never know what kind of request will walk through the door next. See you soon.